Hello and welcome to this instructional video about the alto etude for the 2022 Alabama Jazz All-State requirement. My name is Dave Camwell. I teach at Troy University. And a couple of things just to mention about this etude. The first one you'll notice in bars 1, 3, and 5, there's some scoops that happen. A couple ways to do that. The first way is to go down about a third or a fourth of the intended note. In this case, in our case here, F sharp as the first one. And really you just sort of rip up either chromatic scale or a diatonic scale. So I'm going to start, so I want to get to F sharp. I'm going to start probably at a D. See, I just basically do a chromatic scale up. The second way is to use your embouchure. And one of the ways that we do this is it's almost like yawning. We want to elongate our jaw by sort of pushing down. And so we can get a neat effect that way. So I'll start at the normal pitch and then go down. So that's what we call flexibility, and it's a great tip. It's a great thing to learn how to do both on the classical side of the horn as well as the jazz side. And so if you want to do that, basically I'm going to finger F sharp, the first note, and I'm just going to start on sort of the low part or the yawn part of that. That's another option too. Or you can combine the fingers and the embouchure with that when you get this effect. You sound that neat smear sound that, for example, Johnny Hodges is very famous for on tunes like Isfahan. So I would recommend doing that for bars 1, 3, and 5, and also it just should really be part of your everyday abilities on the jazz horn in terms of the stylistic properties of this music. And a brief word about articulation. So in this style, swing jazz style, we use what's called an offbeat articulation. So if I was going to play, let's say G major scale, I'm going to make sure I'm tonguing and accenting the offbeats, or the notes that are on the ands. So 1, 2, 3. Gives us that jazzy lilt, if you will. And it's, as you notice, it's exactly the opposite of classical music, where typically we're on the beat. So we're playing the same notes, but the articulation makes such a big stylistic difference. And so one of the places where that's really important to do is all the places in this etude, for example, that have eighth notes in them, and long series of them. And for example, pick up to bar 14, and bar 14 itself is probably the longest stretch that we have of repeated eighth notes. So make sure that you are indeed tonguing on the offbeat. So if I'm starting right on the downbeat of 14, it would be a little bit under tempo there, but you get the idea. And then with the pickup, a little faster. And then we're sort of getting to tempo, the one that we want there. A couple articulation exercises that you might work on that will be able to be applied to really anything in the jazz style and the swing style. I use G major scale is a great starting point. We all know that one. We don't have to stress about the notes. And actually I start with just a single note articulation like this. Just making sure I'm not tonguing too hard, not too softly, just right in that sweet spot. So I start with that single note, then I go to the major scale up to the 9. And then I finish with the single notes again. So the whole exercise would sound like this. 2, 3. And really, you can do that on any scale. You can do it on the chromatic scale. You can play it on random notes. It doesn't matter. It's just really try to keep it going. And so one of the things I like to end a practice session with is just kind of following my my creative side and trying to match that with and making sure that I've got the right articulations in. So I might do just freely improvise something. Something like that, and just really just doing a check and playing in a variety of different tempos and making sure that my tongue is exactly accenting the way that I want it to be. One other final quick tip: the faster you go, the lighter your tongue really needs to be. And in addition to that, the triplet feel of swing is larger. So we have 8 notes, right? But we're really playing in that triplet feel, the first and last of each triplet. Do da do da do da do, the triplet la triplet la triplet la triplet la da 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 da. As we go faster, that very much narrows and becomes almost just like straight 16th notes, except for the fact that we're articulating off the beat. So when you hear really fast things, that kind of thing. The articulation is so important to be, again, on the offbeats, but the actual notes are going to be and that's when you hear some of these great double time lines of Charlie Parker and Camwell Adderley and Michael Brecker and about 1,000 other saxophone players. That's where this offbeat articulation really comes into play and becomes so important. So practicing that exercise I was showing earlier, I think is a terrific help, and do it at a variety of tempos. So there we go. I hope this was helpful for you, and good luck in your audition.